folks, how you doing? So today, I'm gonna dive into a subject. I've done more than one videos on about it, and a lot of women are primarily single mothers. Are not gonna like what I have to say, but it's no disrespect. And my topic today is single mothers are a liability to men, right? And I mean no disrespect. Like I said, I've been with my partner. She's a single mother. She had two kids. I took her up to two kids, and I don't regret it because it was a choice I made. Nobody hold a gun to my head and told me that I have to do it. I do it on my own, and I was prepared when I realized the situation to deal with it. And I've been with her for many years to the point that her kids got older and they move out and they're living on their own. As it stands now. Why I say that is those kids don't call me for nothing. They would probably. No, no, that's not actually true accurate. You know, their son, he calls me, but he called me when he has issues with the car and he needs question what to do with this car. Is Our daughter never called me for dear life, and when Christmas comes and we get together, yeah, they bought me stuff for Christmas. So they're good kids, and I would never say anything bad about them. They're really really good kids. They were never rude to me. They're never disrespected for me to me. But in all the time that I've worked, I've supported those kids. I paid for rent, I paid the bills in the house, I bought them stuff in Christmas, I bought them stuff for their birthday. And like for me personally, I did that, and then, like I said, I don't regret it. But would I do it again? No. Hell no, I would never do it again. And so I'm telling man that, it's a liability. It is because what value are the kids to you? And this is something I want single mother to realize this point. You have to ask yourself, for him, what value are your kids to him? Are your kids of any value to him? They're not his kids. Whether you want to say you were young and stupid when you had kids or whatever the case may be, you're now stuck with kids that are not his kids, and now you're looking for a stepfather to come in, play the role of daddy to your kids, you know what I mean, and to support your kids because you're not going to date a guy who has nothing, right? You're not. So the minute this man comes into your life and he's playing house with you, he is going to support somebody as his kid, and that kid is nothing but a liability to him. It's not an asset to him. Those are not his kids. And a lot of single women get upset when they and a single mother get upset. But this is a choice that you made. So why are you getting upset when a man doesn't want to date you because you have kids? You have to understand, and I've said this on previous videos on more than one occasions, right? There's too much for him at risk to dating those kids. Because if these kids don't like him, they can make his life a living hell. If you don't, teach your kid manners and respect, these kids can end up disrespecting him. And Kevin Samuel said one thing that that really made sense is for most of you, you would not allow a man to come and discipline your kids. You would not allow that. The type of discipline that he's allowed is one that's modified and also is approved by you. And the kind of discipline method, probably what he thinks is probably different from what you think. What if you think he gotta beat these kids' ass if they're disrespectful? You're not gonna go with that. So this is what I'm saying is not an asset to him because he can't. What if he's a guy that believes that you have to, beat a kid, beat them straight to get them in line as much as you want him, you will not approve that. Most women will never allow a man to even touch their kids, but his money supposed to support that kids. How does that make any friggin' sense? You can't just support it. And I'm not saying that you should allow a man to abuse your kid and beat your kid to a pulp. I don't agree with that, and I don't support that. I never did that to my stepkids, right? But the problem is, you have to look at it from that perspective as well. He can't discipline the kids he wants to. So if your kids are disrespecting him, you might yell at them, but that's as far as you go because you're probably not going to do anything about it. And he has to put up with that shit. If your kids are rude, he has to put up with the disrespect, but then you're still wanting to pay a bill in this house, pay rent, buy food, do whatever for those disrespectful kids who have no respect for him. Most times, kids don't even like their step parent. And even if that step parent is in your life and paying bills, Most of them don't respect them or even regard them as anything. Because what I hear a lot of kids say to, a man who's their stepfather, well, you're not my dad. How do you think that makes a man feel? He's paying bills in your house and supporting your kids, and your kids have the audacity. And yeah, and it's the truth. That's the truth. He's not. But when they turn around and say, "You're not my dad," I mean, that as a man, even though it's the truth, it just shows disrespect and entitlement. So you're gonna come and act entitled to me who's supporting you. Where your dad then? Right? If the father's a deadbeat, now he's going to be responsible for that, and those kids are going to throw whatever they want to throw in his face, and he has to accept that. And this is the point that most of you single mothers are not getting. You're not getting this, and it's very, very vital. That's why most men won't touch you, because your kids are a liability. You're a liability to him because his money had to go to support a kid that he didn't bring into this world. And when they feel right and they're good and red, and you're a weak mom who can't discipline your kids, they can turn around and disrespect them. And all you're going to probably do is just yell at them and talk to them, and then that's it. You think that's going to change anything? And he has to stay there and put up with this shit? You're only seeing what most North American women is good at is only seeing themselves. They don't see the man's perspective. They don't see the man's point, and that's why they're missing the mark. Single mothers are single because those kids are a liability to this man. This man doesn't gain anything. He doesn't get anything out of that. Then let the other guy off the hook and taking up his responsibility. And now you're upset because man don't want to touch you. Well, why didn't you work it out with the kid's father in the first place? You should have worked it out with him. But then you're going to get mad at another man who didn't create those kids because he doesn't want to touch you with a 10-foot pole, or because he doesn't want a relationship with you, or he could just, get a piece of ass off you and bounce because you have your kid and you get mad at him. Don't get mad at him. That's the choice that you made. You made a choice to sleep with his father, knowing what kind of man his father is, and you didn't work on the relationship with you and your father. Now you put it on him. And this is where I said the unfairness and the I guess the sheer ignorance that a lot of single mothers think. Why should a man take up another man's kids and support them? Like I said, I made a choice, and I'm not regretting it, right? But that's a choice I made back then, and I like I said, I don't take that back. I don't regret that. Nobody put a gun to my head and told me I have to do it. I did it, but I sure as hell won't do it again. One time is enough, because I'm not going to go around and take care of every man's kids if my relationship falls apart. I'm not going to do that. That does have no value to me. It makes no sense whatsoever at all, because no matter what, these kids can basically tell me to fuck off, and I can't do nothing about that. I'm not going to put my hand on the next man's kids. It's not my place. And this is what most of your single women has to understand, right? It's not a man's place to discipline another man's kid. And if that kid doesn't care and don't want to hear nothing what he has to say, it means nothing anyway. These kids are of no value to him because they're not his kids. He can't discipline them the way they want, you know what I mean? And if they just don't want nothing to do with him, he has to deal with that. And if those kids can turn around and lie on him, because there's a lot of men that are in jail because a girl said, "Oh, he touched me." And if you have a daughter and you come home and your daughter tell you that he touches them or did anything sexual, you're gonna flip, and you're not gonna believe him. You're not even going to think. You're not even going to even think for a second if he is right or he didn't. Especially if you love your kid, you're not even going to think twice. You're gonna lose your shit. And this man can either end up in jail because you probably might call the cops on him, or you and him might get in a fight, or you might even doing something really, really bad. And this is what you're not seeing. This is the point that most of your single mothers are missing. You're missing the point that these kids don't mean nothing or worth nothing to him. Why would they worth or mean anything to him? They're not his kids. And if this kid decide to be vindictive or decide to be really messed up to him, they can lie on him. And they damn well know that you're going to believe them and you're not going to believe him. Who's in his corner? Nobody. Nobody's in his corner, because at the end of the day, you're going to put your kids first. You're going to believe your kids first. Even though your kids might be telling a lie, you're not going to let him off the hook. He's going to be in some serious shit. right? So these are some of the points that you're not missing as a single woman, why man won't touch you because you have kids, because those are some of the issues that they have to deal with. And the paramount one is I'm supporting someone else. See, my hard-earned money that I work for, instead I can invest it to better myself, is going into supporting another man's kid that's not even mine. And when they get old and move on in their life, they probably won't have nothing to do with them anyway. Right? So what I'm talking here is experience, because like I said, the only reason why I see my stepkids because I'm with their mother and they come to visit their mother. But I know this relationship, then I would never see them again for the rest of their life. They might never even call me. And you know what? I can't be mad at that, because at the end of the day, a choice was made on my behalf. Right? So those are the things that I want you to pay attention with, why men won't touch you and why you're single and most men won't go there, is because your kids are a liability. They mean nothing to him. They just him. He's just basically throwing money in a black hole. Right? So, last thing before I leave, if you're in a relationship with a father, try and work it out with a father. You know what I mean? Because it's best for these kids to be with their father. And for you, you don't have to be jumping around trying to find a stepdad for his kids. If you can't work it out with a father, work it out with him and try and make sure, you guys can build a strong relationship and help support those kids. All right? So until next time, folks, you have a comment, drop in the comment section below. Subscribe to my channel. I drop a video every week. And as always, folks, I'll see you next video.